Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, or if this is your first time here, hi, my name is Dana. I upload new videos at least once a week, and since we are in the perfect season for tea right now, I'm going to be uploading even more frequently than that. So this is a great time to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, to stay up to date with all of my new videos. Today I'm branching out into a tea company that I've tried before and I really love, but I've never shared with you guys. It is Adagio tea, and the tea that I'm trying today is called Spiced Mate. All right, as per usual, let's get our tea steeping. This is a mate tea, which is one of my favorite kinds of tea. And since it's not like actual tea leaves, it can be steeped as long as we want without over steeping or getting bitter. So we want to give this one plenty of time. Okay, let's set this guy to the side and see what we can find out about that loose tea. I actually used to shop at Adagio before I ever worked at David's Tea, before I ever even heard of it. Where I live, the David's Tea that I worked at, if you look out the front door, you can see the back of the Adagio building. So they're really close together. So there was a little bit of competition, but like my old boss used to say, there is room in your heart for every kind of tea. So we were tea friends and not competitors, is the way we liked to look at it over there. But they had some really awesome teas that I used to really love before I really knew anything about tea. So going back in there was really interesting because at least at the one that is where I live, it's less of a guided experience, and they just have the tea containers, like the sniffer containers, all over the store, like with the corresponding packages of tea underneath. So it's not like at David's Tea where you're interacting with a tea guide who's like helping you learn about tea and helping you like make your selections. It's just kind of like self-guided, which for me is great, but I can see where that would be kind of frustrating for people who aren't super familiar with the tea types and everything yet. Like if you don't know what you're looking for, it can be a little bit tricky, but overall, like they do have a lot of really nice teas and a lot of really comparable stuff to what David's Tea has, just obviously without like the really fun flavors like birthday cake and stuff like that. But I saw this one, Spiced Mate, and I really wanted to give it a try because David's Tea has seemed to be cutting back on their mate teas for quite a while now. I feel like that section of the tea wall keeps getting like smaller and smaller and smaller, but I need my mate fix. So this is a spiced mate, and the description says Brazilian toasted mate blended with spices and citrus peels to add a little zest to an energizing brew. Contains caffeine. So mate is actually a little bit different than caffeine. It has matine in it. So instead of the way that caffeine affects you through your nervous system, where you're kind of jittery and like kind of all over the place, mate energizes you through your muscular system. So you get like a nice slow, steady energy without a crash. The ingredients are toasted mate tea, cinnamon bark, natural spice flavor, orange peels, and ginger root. It smelled so good in the store, so I just couldn't resist. Yeah, it smells really nice. It has a really nice strong cinnamon, and the ginger is a little lighter for me since it is the last ingredient. So let me take out a scoop so we can get a look. The mate is in very fine pieces. When David's Tea used to have a straight mate, it looked a little more green than this. This one does say that it's toasted, so I don't know if David's Teas was toasted or like how their mate was processed, but it does look a little smaller and a little browner than the mate I'm used to. As you can see, it's a lot of really small pieces. There's some nice like orange peel in there. So dumping it out onto the plate, you can definitely see how small those pieces are this way. And I see an orange peel, little pieces of ginger and cinnamon. So you can see like those little tiny little pieces. The leaves are cut into really small pieces for this one. Since I'm not familiar with Adagio, I'm gonna check out their website and see if I can get any more information from that. But on the back of the bag. It says fresh teas direct from origin, artisanal herbals. Our herbal blends are made with herbs, fruits, and spices and are devoid of caffeine, for they contain no tea leaves. They offer an enticing array of scents and flavors as well as impressive health benefits. Our ancestors' discovery of herbals rivals the storied history of our relationship with tea. Our fresh herbals come direct from farmers in South Africa, Egypt, and Guatemala. Some of the aspects of that don't really apply to this tea because technically you could consider it an herbal because it's not tea leaves, but it's not caffeine free because it's mate. So mate still is a stimulant, so you can't really say like devoid of caffeine when it says on the front contains caffeine. So I'm not sure I love their packaging for that reason. Plus, I just don't like how large the bags are for how much tea is in there. I don't know if you're gonna be able to see where like the tea ends. The bags are 3 ounces of tea, and the tins like this kind of tin here from David's Tea is made to hold 4 ounces of tea. And I know the tins are big, but like they usually are pretty full for 4 ounces, whereas the bags, like all of this from here up is just air. And it doesn't like look cute on a shelf or anything. So I will definitely transfer this into a tin as soon as I have an empty tin to use. I really do wish that they sold it in tins or sold it loose, because another thing is the amount that you buy is not customizable. It is considerably cheaper. I got so much tea for so little when I went in there with my mom. 3 ounces was $8. It is cheaper than David's Tea's prices, but I personally like to have the option of buying it in bulk per ounce, so I can buy small amounts if there are things I just want to try. What I'm gonna do is I'm not going to buy like ones that I don't know if I'd like at David's Tea, since I can buy just an ounce and just spend a couple dollars. I'm super comfortable buying any tea in a small amount like that, because if I don't like it, it's not like I have a ton that's gonna go to waste or a ton that like I'm gonna give away. So I'm not sure I would be as adventurous at Adagio since it's not customizable amounts. So I'm gonna check out their website. I don't know what information they'll have on there, because I'm gonna check it out. So here is the spiced mate. It does look a little greener and brighter than what I see in front of me, and there are some bigger pieces of things. Like I have one big piece of orange peel, but on here it seems like a higher ratio because I have a ton of like tea, like a ton of the mate tea on this plate and not a lot of like chunks. So I feel like that picture is a little bit like enhanced, which I mean everything is, but I like when they match a little more closely, the picture and what I see when I look at the tea. Oh, you know what? It looks like on the website they have a smaller option. They have like a sample pouch, which I did get a sample pouch in the store, but they gave it to me for free. I was surprised how big it was. But they have $3 samples that make 10 cups. So that is good to know for if I shop online. And it says Brazilian toasted mate blended with spices and citrus peels to add a little zest to an energizing brew. We find it perfect for chilly days by the fire or iced with milk and sugar for when you crave a sweet treat. Please note that all mate varieties contain caffeine. We would not suggest it as a nightcap. This tea contains a high level of caffeine. I think if I were to buy more, I'd probably go online to get the smaller size. If there was something like new that I was intrigued but not sure about, I think that would be the route I would go. So I'm really hoping this could be another new tea that I can kind of work into my morning routines, because sometimes I do want that extra little like energizing boost where I'm gonna be able to like sustain it for the entire day. Whereas like a green tea is what I usually drink and I love it, but I feel like it's more calming and just like, I drink it more because just like I love it. Whereas like some days you need a little more of a boost, and I wouldn't really drink coffee in the morning, so I'm hoping that this can be a nice go-to for me because it's spiced how I like, but it will provide a little bit of extra energy for me. All right, on a normal day, I would probably let this steep like literally forever so I can get as strong of like ginger and spice as possible and as much like energizing qualities as possible. But for the sake of the video, I'd say we are good to steep. It smells, I smell the actual mate, which I love, and I smell the cinnamon. Definitely has a nice kick of spice just from the smell. And the orange, and I even smell the orange a little bit, but I'm not picking up the ginger from the smell of the liquid. Okay, so all there really is left to do is to give it a taste. It's not as strong flavored as the teas I'm used to. I find that a lot with like anything that's not from David's Tea. I don't know if it's because they use like flavorings. I know it's really controversial, but like they use a lot of flavorings, but like this has flavoring in it as well. And I do find it to be a little lighter than what I'm used to, but it's good. I definitely taste the cinnamon and the mate most of all, which makes sense because they are the first ingredients. I'm not getting as much spice as I would have liked. I am getting the cinnamon like really on the back end though, like when I take the sip on like the back end of the sip. So I'm getting the mate taste most of all. So I always love when I can taste the tea, and I definitely taste the tea, and I really enjoyed that. I do kind of wish that I was getting a little more spice though, especially because it's called spiced mate. I do kind of wish it had like an extra component, like instead of just the cinnamon and the ginger as the spice and then like whatever natural flavors they elected to add. I wish there was an ingredient that kind of kicked the spiciness up a notch. Like, I know it might sound a little crazy, but if they added some like chili pepper, David's Tea's The Spice is Right, which is like the cheesiest name there ever was, but that one has similar ingredients, but in a green tea. It's like orange peel, cinnamon. I'm not sure there's any ginger in it, but I believe there's chili pepper, which just adds that like extra kick that I feel like this could really use. Like, it's lightly spiced. It's not as spiced as I like pictured it to be, and like even when I smelled it, I thought it would be a little more spicy, but it's definitely good. Like, I could absolutely see myself drinking this sometimes in the morning on those days where I do want a little extra boost of energy. But if they added something like even just like black pepper, I feel like something to just kick that spice up a little bit, I feel like it would just be like just that much more like impressive to me. Like, this is sort of like a basic kind of blend, but I feel like it could have just gone like a little bit more over the top if they would have added like something really spicy. But that being said, this is totally within like my realm of flavors. Like, this is something that I would reach for. I'm not sure if it's something I would like completely highly recommend. Like, it doesn't blow my mind or anything, but this tea won't go to waste. I absolutely will drink all of it because it's just what I like. And of course, I always, every single tea I say this, but a little extra ginger wouldn't have hurt. I really would have liked a little more ginger. But that's all personal preference. I know Adagio is like more of a traditional tea kind of store. It's not really like David's Tea, and like in that they have all these impressive like wild blends that like who would have thought there'd be a tea of that. Like, they are a little bit more what people think of when they think of tea, like a little more toned down and like normal, and they don't really have like outrageous things. Like, they have some pretty unique blends, and I have a couple like coming that I'm gonna try, but it's not like David's Tea where it's like every tea is like a wow factor and everything they come up with is like crazy. It's more, I'd say, traditional or more typical. And there's nothing wrong with that because they do that and they do it well. I don't think I've ever met a spiced tea that I didn't like, and today is not the day that I do. This is awesome. I really like it personally. It's not like a can't miss, like it's not like a go get this right now, don't miss out on it. Like, it's sort of typical and like kind of basic, but personally, I love it. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed my review of Adagio's spiced mate. I do definitely recommend checking out Adagio's website. The benefit to going into a store is that you can't smell the teas, but like I was saying in the beginning of the video, it's much more self-guided. So if you are kind of like a tea beginner, you might benefit from hopping on their website and checking out a couple different things because you can order in that smaller quantity. So if you're like just branching out and trying to see what you like, I would say do that first, just so like you're not stuck with like huge amounts of tea that you end up not really enjoying. I feel like this might be something my mom would like because she really likes iced cinnamon teas, so I think she might be into this. I hope you're having a beautiful day and I will see you next time. Thanks for watching.